was reading the paper yesterday. I was reading the BBC on the flight home, and I came across this story, and it suddenly hit me. China has not signed any bilateral or any multilateral trade agreements, to the best of my knowledge. They're not part of the World Trade Organization, I don't think. I think they may be applying for membership. We have what's called most favored nation trade status with China, which means that we don't have any barriers to Chinese goods coming into the United States. In other words, no more tariffs. So I'm reading this article, and I just had always assumed that, I knew that China had non-tariff trade barriers to the import of U.S. goods into China. Like, it has to be made by a company that has a certain percentage of Chinese ownership, or it has to have a certain amount of Chinese parts, or it has to meet certain specifications that you couldn't do in the United States, and whatever. But there's still people who export, companies in America that just export to the China market, although they're few and far between. Mostly outside of, weapon systems or nuclear reactors or something. I don't know. But the headline was, China cuts import taxes to boost consumer demand. And I was like, import taxes? That's what a tariff is a tax on imports. And here's the article. This from the BBC. There's not a byline to credit the author. High tariffs for imported goods have prompted some Chinese consumers to shop abroad or through agents. In other words, China is building demand inside China for Chinese-made goods by making it hard for non-Chinese-made goods to get into the country. The tariff reduction is an important measure to create stable growth and push toward structural reform, said the Ministry of Finance. From June 1st, tariffs for Western-style clothing will be reduced from 23% to 10%. So wait a minute. Right now in China, if an American company wanted to sell clothing, Western-style clothing, and it doesn't mean Wild West, it would include blue jeans, but by Western style, they mean, coats, ties, the things that people wear in Europe and North America. It's a 23% tariff on imported goods into China. So, of course, they're going to make their own stuff, right? We don't have any such tariff. Ankle-high boots and sports shoes. The current tariff in China right now is 24%. They're going to cut it in half to 12%. Keep in mind, our highest tariffs right now are like 2%. And then they say, however, it's not just import taxes that drive up the prices of imported consumer goods in China. VAT and other taxes also play a part. I've told you this in the past, how the Chinese use VAT taxes essentially as a tariff. They rebate taxes on things that they're exporting, and they impose taxes on things they're importing. So it's an effective tariff. Analysts say consumers in China pay around 20% more for luxury goods than those in Europe. Very interesting.